Hey everyone, my first live cast here, and I wanted to talk a little bit about technology in education. So last night I was at a pitch fest and down in London, and I was speaking about how technology isn't impacting education. And I think what was surprising was a lot of the things that I take for granted with my experience and knowledge in education. I sort of assume that other people know. And that wasn't the case. And when I was sharing some of the stats with people, the people in the room were genuinely shocked. And it really made me think that, if we're going to turn the tide on how technology is used in education, then the first thing we need to do is share our knowledge. So I just want to talk about just one specific thing today, and that is that in 2017, so schools are going to spend the threshold of spending for technology in school is going to tip £1 billion in the last 10 years, and that's quite an amazing number to spend purely on technology, especially when you take into account that all the research out there, there's no measurable impact of the impact that technology has had on student progress. And a lot of the work that I do is about changing that, and it comes down to two simple things. So the first one is that technology isn't simple, and then it's ineffective. And the reasons for these are twofold. So the first one is that technology has become incredibly complex. Schools are going out and buying iPads and computers and other tablets and pretty much everything else that they can get their hands on. And it's just going into schools, and there's no implementation, the support is lacking. And then finally, the teachers aren't being trained. And that brings us on to the second element there. I meet schools all the time, and the teachers are saying that they're not sure how to use technology. There's a lot of fear about it. There's a lot of confusion. And a lot of times the technology is actually making their jobs more difficult to do instead of simpler. So what I wanted to do is just refocus on the problem and the context of technology. So going out and buying iPads is not going to solve the big problems in education if they're not implemented correctly, if they're not supported in the school, and if staff aren't trained on it. And until we reach that stage where we view technology as the inanimate object that it is, yep, it's filled full of potential, but that's all it is, it's potential at this stage, we're just going to keep making the same mistakes. And we've now had technology for 35 years in British schools, and in that time there's been no impact, no measurable impact on student outcomes, and that's quite a shocking thing to consider. If you took that money that's spent there, £1 billion just in the last 10 years, and you put that into training teachers, you supported more staff, you built new schools, or you'd even use traditional resources like textbooks and new curriculum. Just imagine the upside that could have achieved. So really, as we go into Christmas and we come into the new year, Bet's coming up in England in February, the biggest technology conference in the Western world. And schools are going to be flocking to this to see what's new and what's out there. But what I'd ask you is, just before you start jumping into the next technology trend, whatever that's going to be, just stop and think, take a moment and look at the technology that you have in your school. Do you have tablets? Do you have computers? Do you have interactive whiteboards? What are the systems and the platforms that you're using? Are staff able to work easily? Is the school productive? Are lessons consistent? These are things that technology should be providing, because they provide that in other areas of our lives. So the next time you walk up to the trade show, or you visit another school and you see the latest thing that they're using, the key is to really ask, what is the impact that is delivering? We need to get past this wow and this shininess of these gadgets and really get down to the basics of what is the impact for student learning here. And that's all I want to leave you with today. I want to start that conversation, and I'll be picking it up over the coming days. So thanks for tuning in, and until next time. Thanks, guys.